Today, we are talking about Logan Paul and how he is apparently suing Coffeezilla for CryptoZoo, even though, he apparently thanked him for bringing all that stuff to his attention. So, I'm curious as to how this is going to turn out. Um, yeah, can't wait for the tournament arc to begin.
Logan Paul is suing me for CryptoZoo only a year after he thanked me for it. Rather than pay back his victims fully, Logan would rather publicly humiliate himself in court by accusing me of defaming him. He's hired 5 lawyers to sue me, which he hopes will stop me from exposing him again. You see, only hours before this lawsuit was filed, I had reached out to Logan Paul about a new investigation into one of his companies, which has just been accused by the Canadian government of being a multi-layered fraud in Canada. I obviously had questions, but before I was able to get answers, Logan's team of lawyers showed up to silence me. We're going to talk about that. We're also going to go through this lawsuit. I'm going to tell you how to support us if you want, because while I didn't think I'd need help, I was wrong. But before we get to my mistake, let's start with Logan's. This lawsuit is not about Logan Paul getting defamed. Instead, this is about him trying to dodge accountability, victims, and blame anyone.
Wait, so he's not suing you for defaming him? How does that work? Remember this from Dragon Age, this is my favorite part, the modern discourse chapter. You don't gotta call me out like that,
But himself for his problems.
I like talking about this
especially
stuff.
me. This lawsuit says Logan Paul wants to hold me accountable for my actions.
Wait, what? He has caused to Paul's reputation through the intentional and reckless dissemination of defamatory falsehoods. It's not a falsehood if it's true, though.
But what actions are those? Holding him accountable? It's ironic because his lawyers claim Logan has learned to believe in the importance of accountability. But accountability for who?
Just so you want to
Currently, Logan is fighting the victims of CryptoZoo in court. And
yeah,
now
I will
he's
be playing
fighting
Dragon Age after, don't
who
worry.
exposed him in the first place. Personally, I believe Logan has learned nothing from this except how to silence people with the law. But I won't be silenced because Logan's lawsuit makes no sense. We're going to go through it because from the beginning, there's problems. Logan's 5 lawyers tried to discredit me as a journalist. They paint me as someone who wanted money. They say I had a false and malicious narrative.
Aren't most of Coffeezilla's videos unmonetized, though?
But you know who doesn't believe that? You know who secretly praises me behind the scenes?
Logan
This
Paul.
journalist, YouTuber, crypto uncoverer guy named Coffeezilla, who's incredible, by the way. A very thorough, good-hearted, smart guy, did a deep dive into this project that I attempted to make called CryptoZoo.
That's right. It's
Wow.
Logan Paul. He's the
Bro is glazing him on camera, and then off camera is sending out the fucking hounds. I love this
biggest
shit.
enemy of Logan Paul's defamation case. Who knew? Because defamation requires actual malice and a
Yes.
reckless disregard for the truth. But he just admitted on camera that I am thorough and good-hearted.
Yes, this is the sort of thing that will be brought along, even if it's not about proving that Logan Paul doesn't believe what he's saying in the legal action that he's taking against Coffeezilla. This is the sort of thing that can be brought along as character assassination of Logan Paul, which can lead to throwing out the whole case. Because if you can show that Logan Paul is a very two-faced person, where he says one thing and then he does something else in court, his entire testimony becomes very suspect to the judge, and so the judge might just decide, hey, you know what? No, I don't believe that you believe what you're saying, and so, yeah, this is getting thrown out. So, yeah, Logan Paul, very, very stupid to go after Coffeezilla the way that you're going with the lawyers.
Maybe that's why he wanted to remove that video from the internet, according to the YouTuber who released it.
The only issue that was ever communicated was remove this crypto stuff, remove this CryptoZoo stuff. If CryptoZoo is in there, if Coffeezilla's in there, I'm not going to promote it.
Yeah,
Ooh.
remove that crypto.
Look at his face.
Coffeezilla's, remove this
Smiling,
crypto stuff.
smiling,
Remove this CryptoZoo
no
stuff.
longer smiling.
If CryptoZoo is in there, if Coffeezilla's in there,
Bro's a little bit upset that he got called out like
I'm
that.
not going to promote it.
Yeah, remove that CryptoZoo stuff, that Coffeezilla stuff. Doesn't look good when you compliment the guy you're trying to sue.
Yep.
Maybe that's why Logan isn't even suing me for my original investigation at all, despite most of this lawsuit being a ridiculous fanfic about how I took Logan out of context, that Logan was a victim, that I withheld text messages.
Wait, calm down, I'm trying to read it. So concludes with the preview. The preview features images of text message between Paul and an unidentified person within the scene, narrating snippets of those messages, no context. It's just when people do these kind of things, get called out when then try to silence it with legal action, they are so painfully unself-aware because they'll be like, we're holding them accountable when they're the ones not being accountable and all this other stuff. Now, yeah, it's the same thing as what Mr. Beast was doing, because Paul is accusing Coffeezilla of defaming his character and making it so people see him as the bad guy. But the fastest way to be seen as the bad guy is to try to silence someone like Coffeezilla through legal action. It's the same thing as Mr. Beast is doing with the cease and desist to everybody who's exposing him and saying, oh, you know, the NDAs. But here's the thing, NDAs don't apply to criminal action. So you can't do a cease and desist if somebody is exposing your criminal action. It's called a whistleblower rule or whatever the fuck.
I took Logan out of context, that Logan was
Isn't Logan Paul the same guy who did a vlog in that forest in Japan, was it? Yes, the what's a funny way I can put this? I don't want to just say sewer slide because that's like the lazy one, but you know, the sewer slide forest. It's that was a long time ago, and I feel like we should allow people to move on from their mistakes. I feel like he's done a good enough job of like cleaning up his image. I don't think it's a good thing to just say, oh, you did this one mistake, so we don't ever move on from that. I genuinely could see that as, oh, he's just doing it because he thinks people will like it, right? He thought people wouldn't take it in poor taste. So I'm just trying to make sure I know who's who. Yeah, this is Logan Paul. This is that guy. But I've seen it brought up a bunch of times, and it's the sort of thing where like, oh, he did this, so obviously everything else he does ever is bad. And I think that's a very, very reductive way of seeing people and their actions. I think it's important to allow people to move on from their mistakes because, you know, I've messed up and I appreciated being given a second chance. And I'm sure everybody else has as well. And they've been given second, thirds, and fourth chances on everything. That bit is hardly relevant to consideration to the current crypto-related stuff. And this, exactly. It's not related to this. So this is a new thing that is very bad. He tricked a bunch of people. Well, I don't even know if he tricked the people. I just know that people invested in him and taking everything he said at face value, you know, because he said he wasn't related to the whole cheating people out of their money and things. He actually, it was his business partners that did it, the people who were working on it. It's like that just means you, as somebody with near infinite resources, didn't vet people properly to work on your project. So you're still responsible, and you should still make people whole. It was basically a rug pull. Exactly. It ended up being a rug pull.
was a victim, that I withheld text messages.
Also admitted, for example, that as of August 2021, several months after the launch of Zoo Token, the exact same text messaging showed that Paul was still considering whether to even include a token with the game
Logan
at all.
isn't
That's
suing
completely the idea that he was considering that he was still like thinking about whether or not to include a token in the game is completely irrelevant. You ended up including the token, so we are judging you based on what you did, not based on how you reached the thought process required to do the thing that you did, right?
me for any of the original investigation, though, because he knows he can't.
Yeah.
Instead, at the end of the lawsuit, we find what my defamation really is. I'm being sued for 2 videos and 1 tweet.
Logan Paul really said thank you when you expose his scam, then block you. Oh, because you said it was a scam.
Find what my defamation really is.
Even if he wasn't the one to do it, he's very much responsible. Exactly. Yeah. The quote-unquote refund, so implying that he's not doing the refund. Again, implying he's not doing the refund. Logan Paul's scam.
Sued for 2 videos and 1 tweet.
And then blocking when you remind him to pay up. Yes. Yes, I can absolutely see why he would be able to attempt to sue you over this, because he is kind of doing a refund. I'll let Coffeezilla explain, and if he doesn't, I'll explain it.
For the victims. Yes, you heard me right. Logan Paul sued me after I tried to get his fans, the CryptoZoo investors, a full refund. Remember, there are two parts to CryptoZoo, the NFTs and the Zoo tokens?
Yes.
And Logan chose only to refund the NFTs, which is a minority of the losses, and I had a major problem with that. I told Logan this. I've stated over and over my opinion that it is disappointing for someone as rich as Logan to not make things fair.
And by the way, like, this was, I think somebody did the math on how much this was. This would absolutely be a kick in the pants for Logan to pay off all the people. But at the same time, I think he absolutely could stand to pay off the people and just in the future, like, because this isn't the first time where he starts a crypto project and it ends up going bust. I think that the smart thing for Logan would be to just pay people off and then back the fuck off of crypto. It doesn't hold its value. Just give people the money, back off. Lean into Prime, lean into the WWE. Hey, who knows? Join KSI in music as well. You know, just do that stuff. Do stuff that is entertainment based, because that's what Logan Paul can do really well. He's not a good money guy.
Fully right, and instead only pay back a small part of the losses while fighting the rest of the victims in court. And it's those videos and tweet where I ask for refunds, which I'm being sued for. The first video in question.
Hey Logan, following up for the third time. It's been over 5 months since you promised to refund victims of CryptoZoo over 3 million. You haven't contacted any of them. By the way, 3 million. I'm not saying that this is like small change for him, but he has made more than this amount in a month with all of his businesses. Actually, no, he's made more than this amount in a month from one of his businesses, Prime. So it's like you could absolutely stand to pay people for this. So it's like I can't believe people are still doing crypto for the most part. All I ever see is how bad an investment it is almost all the time. Exactly. But the thing is, the thing with crypto and the thing with gambling in general, because let's be honest, crypto is gambling. It requires a level of narcissism that a lot of investing people, like people who like to invest, tend to have. The idea that they know better than everybody else, and so the thing that won't work for anybody else will work for them. You know, it's that whole thing of you only need to win 30 something times at blackjack to be a millionaire, right? It just seems like let's say stocks, and that's saying something, I think. Exactly. No, that's exactly what it is. It is let's say stocks. However, people who have invested very small amounts into crypto made millions, right? But they did that at the start. That's no longer happening. But there are always people who want to create new coins with the intention of doing that again, but it won't happen because we already have crypto coin and Ethereum as the established currencies, basically. And the whole point of crypto coin was always to have a coin that is completely globalized, completely separate from all of the economies and all of that. Essentially, the purpose of crypto coin was to essentially create fucking Star Wars credits, right? Where these are accepted everywhere. They always hold their value. You can exchange them for other currencies with ease, and that was the point. And then it got turned into an investment thing because the money people got a hold of it. And now it's this basically. It's an investor's trap now.
Is about Logan Paul not paying out refunds for 6 months. The second video was about Logan's partial refund, having a clause to make sure you couldn't sue him for the rest of your refund.
And by the way, this is non-binding.
And the tweet, I simply said, Logan's the type of guy to thank you for exposing a scam and block you when you remind him to pay up.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, now he's the type of guy to then sue you. Now, I'm sure Logan doesn't like it when I say things like Logan's victims or Logan's scam, but I have a question. If they're not Logan's victims...
Fascinating. Yes. The thing is, you cannot sign away your rights. It's not a thing. They are inalienable. There's a reason why they are referred to as God-given. Because it's not the government that gives you these rights. It's not your employer. It's not even like your fellow man. These are rights that you have, and then the government respects those rights, right? So they can't come in and take them from you. They can only disrespect it, right? They can only disregard it. You have a right to attempt to defend yourself. You have a right to own a place where you live. You have a right to own the things that you own. And coming in and taking it from you is criminal, right? If I come in and I assault someone, I am disrespecting their right to bodily autonomy. And if the government comes in and takes away that person's right to defend themselves, they are disrespecting that person's right to, self-protection. That's how rights work. You can't sign them away. I think there's some hefty irony in the fact I have one of those frame ads on Twitch right now for crypto. That is very funny.
Whose victims are they? Even Logan admits they are victims. He
At the
told
same
me
goal
via
of helping
text,
victims, not
just
at
thought we
the
had the same
divisive
goal of
social media
helping
war.
victims instead of a divisive social media war. So he agrees people have been wronged by his game. The thing
Then
that
help
he
them.
said will earn you money.
It's a really fun game that makes you money.
So how are these not Logan's victims? He,
Yeah.
of course, would say it's his business partner's fault. But remember,
Yes.
Jake and Eddie have been out of the picture for years. And yet, CryptoZoo hasn't been released, despite Logan constantly promising it, and of course, also threatening to sue me.
We're going to handle this ourselves while we continue to build CryptoZoo, and I'll see you in court.
By the time this comes out, it'll be done. The game's going to be made. You're going to have the opportunity to get your money back if you want. If you don't want to play the game.
Is
And
the
I'm
game
gonna
out
take
though?
care of the people who made me look
I don't
like
think it is.
This was a scam perpetrated by me.
Right. Logan wants to sue me and release a finished CryptoZoo game, but he's only done one of those. Since Logan can't blame his partners, Jake and Eddie, for this because they've been out of the picture, do you think he'll take accountability for not launching CryptoZoo?
No, lol.
No. This time, he blames the government. He says
What?
releasing CryptoZoo has too many regulatory hurdles. Maybe they should have thought of that before multi-millions of dollars of zoo tokens and eggs were sold. And
Yeah,
now-
this sounds like the sort of thing you'd encounter before getting people involved. Like if I was making a game, I feel like the first thing I'd do is check if I can make the game.
Now, Logan would rather blame the government than take accountability. Or if you let him keep talking, Logan might rant about internet reporters having too much responsibility.
These internet journalists, internet investigative reporters have way too much responsibility on their hands that is being mismanaged and wielded in a really inappropriate way.
Really?
It's honestly
How so?
funny to watch this guy whine about his problems, which you can barely hear over what sounds like a private jet. Which brings me to another
has a script.
problem
Oh, yeah, for
Logan
sure.
has. Part of any defamation
You can very much tell that Logan Paul is a very good entertainer. You see it in the WWE. I don't think anybody can question that. But when he's doing this sort of conversation, he is very much camera trained. He 100% uses a script. He 100% knows what he's going to say before the camera even starts rolling. He 100% knows how to get an audience to like him while admitting to the worst type of shit possible.
case is damages.
Like, don't forget, Logan Paul and Jake Paul were Disney kids. They had the best people training them.
And proving someone has harmed your reputation. But isn't Logan richer than
Logan Paul can celebrate selling over 1 billion Prime hydration bottles. People like to say that this is the Prime success is because of Logan Paul, but I think it's a lot more because of KSI.
ever with Prime? And
Even though Prime
did
is
he have a
mostly in the
reputation
US.
to harm? His lawsuit
For example, commenters called Paul evil, accused him of grift, and exploiting people, accused him of operating a scam, and labeled him a scumdog millionaire. All of these are accurate.
shows comments calling Logan a scammer.
Prime's mid as
possibly
fuck
to
at best anyways. I mean, it's a hydration drink, right? Like, the hydration drink is pretty good. I don't know about the energy drink. I haven't tried that one, but I have tried the hydration drink, and it's pretty good. Like, I wouldn't say it's better than, like, any other hydration drink, but it's pretty good.
suggest he's been hurt by my videos, but you have to have a reputation to lose one. And by the time of my reporting in question, Logan Paul was already accused of
Think of the other energy drink. What's it, Bang or something? I don't know. I don't drink energy drinks. Like, the only caffeine thing I drink is, like, Coke. and that's because I like the taste of it. I've drinking some Monster, but like I don't drink a lot of different energy drinks. I haven't even drunk Prime Energy drink. I'm in Portugal. I don't think it even sells here, but yeah.
Participating in multiple crypto pump and dump schemes.
Yes.
That article does not
That's
reference
the problem. I genuinely believe that that the smartest thing Logan could do is just give people the money back and then back off of crypto. Say, hey guys, I don't know how to do crypto. I'm not even going to touch it. It's the same thing that KSI did. KSI talked about, hey, I'm investing here. So, I'm putting this much money here in this coin, so you guys can join in as well. And then that turned out to be a pump and dump thing. People got mad at KSI and he said, yeah, I lost like $2 million there, so I'm never touching crypto again. Like, do not believe me when I talk about investment. I'm trash at investment. Don't invest in the shit that I say ever again. Like, hold me to this. I'm never touching this again. KSI strikes me as like, oh, Sticky, thank you for the sub. Appreciate that shit. Thank you so much. But yeah, KSI strikes me as much more a genuine person than Logan Paul in this type of thing.
my work. So Logan had already had a reputation as a scammer before my investigation, at least if you believe their allegations. So this lawsuit from beginning to end is groundless, meritless.
We're talking about the
frivolous,
Logan
and
Paul
Logan knows
Coffeezilla
that because
lawsuit,
behind
damn.
the scenes,
Yeah.
in clips he didn't want to get out, he's saying I'm thorough and good-hearted. But in public, he wants to sue me, silence me, and cost me money, because that's the one department where we both know he's got me beat. We might have facts. We might even have evidence. But he's got all
You also have better swag than him, let's be honest. Like, look at this shit. Look at the suspenders. Sexy.
the money and the lawyers.
I would trust Logan Paul with my money. He definitely is incredibly untrustworthy.
This
in
is
the
where I have to
slightest.
get to my
Yeah.
one embarrassing mistake in all of this.
Oh, boy.
See, my defense against rich people like Logan Paul is media insurance, for frivolous lawsuits. So when I was sued, I immediately called my insurance company to file a claim, so I wouldn't have to pay for it. But they told me they're not going to pay. They're trying to get out of covering us, using lawyers in fine print. It's a long story that I will
What?
be explaining on my second channel because insurance
I'll have to look
underwriting
into that
is very
later
boring.
then, I guess.
But suffice to say,
Coffee really pulls those suspenders off. Damn. Yes, he gives that small-time lawyer that routinely kicks the crap out of big corporations vibe, right?
got Dylan Danist. I may have even gotten scammed. I'm not quite sure. For now, the bottom line is we have to fight Logan with our personal funds,
Oh,
which
that's
means
ugh,
I need to ask for your support.
that's
If
yeah.
you want to help and are able to help, there are two ways to contribute to our fight against Logan Paul. One, you can join our Patreon, which supports the channel. Or you can buy exclusive merch at Coffeezilla.store, where we just released the Coffeezilla defense drop. That's right.
Also,
life
just watch
hands
the
you
video.
lawsuits, you
Watching
get
the video
rejected
helps
by
in
your
terms of ad
insurance,
revenue.
Make merch.
Yes.
So here's the deal. These shirts will be available for pre-order for only the next 14 days. And 100% of profits we make from selling them will go to this lawsuit. If for some weird reason there's money left over, it will be dedicated to future legal costs for this channel.
Smart.
I just want to let you know they're available, and it's a cool way to support the lawsuit while also getting something in return. I didn't want to just set up a GoFundMe. So
That's smart.
if you want to do that, just know pre-orders take a few weeks to get done because we make them after you order. And remember, you have 14 days. And you can get that at Coffeezilla.store. I'll link that below. It's Coffeezilla.store. All right, now we're going to shift gears and talk about the final part of this lawsuit.
Lawsuit timing.
Why did Logan
boy.
Paul sue me now? It's been over a year since he apologized and thanked me.
Thank you, Coffeezilla. I am very grateful for your work and your investigation. And I mean that. Thank you, bro.
Well,
might-
I'm sure he does mean it because it gave him an opportunity to look good on camera, apologizing and doing all that stuff. I'm sure he does mean thank you, but like then a year later you come out and you go, hey, you still haven't done the thing you said you were going to do. And so now you're annoying him, right?
Seems strange.
It's
But I've got
a
some
different
fun facts
situation.
for you that may or may not be related. Did you know 6 days before the lawsuit, I had featured Logan Paul in a teaser for a video?
Oh boy.
Did you know 21 hours before the lawsuit, I had texted Logan for comment?
Liquid Market got accused of, as did 3 of the top executives. Given that I spoke with you about this allegation over a year ago, I wanted to ask for comment. I can give you 24 hours to respond.
Did you know I told him he had 24 hours to respond, and Logan sued me 3 hours before the deadline? Yep, that's right. Logan's
That's
lawyers then
not smart.
threatened me in that lawsuit email that if I
Should you choose to proceed with any reporting on Liquid Marketplace, please know that Mr. Paul intends to hold you fully accountable. Yeah, reporting on something that you did isn't a crime. It's also not liable.
report on this new story, Logan might hold me.
It's one of those things where it's like you can like if I see you commit a crime and I say, "Hey, this guy did a thing." You can't then get mad at me for saying it. Next time, don't do it.
Accountable. And Logan's definition of
Brings this defamation suit to hold for his action to hold him
accountability
liable.
seems to mean he'll sue.
Oh, and by the way, this is actually how it would work if he were in Portugal, by the way. The thing is, in the United States, defamation means that it's false. In Portugal, I don't know how it is in the rest of Europe, but in Portugal, for example, if you accuse somebody of doing something and they did it, but you reporting on it caused harm to their reputation, they can still sue you, which is fucking ridiculous.
Sue me, which is why I believe this
I think
lawsuit
it's the
was
same thing in
not
Japan.
designed to win, but to shut me up, to
Yes.
threaten me, using Logan's wealth and a federal court system without anti-slap to send
Yeah,
a
it's just
message.
a.
Do not tell
It's just him flexing his big money muscles.
that story. Of course, I don't believe that's the only reason I was sued. Clearly, Logan wanted to sue me for a while, but I believe this new investigation played a role in pulling the trigger. Maybe Logan's team will deny this. Maybe they'll say it's coincidence they sued 3 hours before a deadline. Maybe it's coincidence I announced a story about Logan 6 days before, and maybe it's coincidence that Logan's lawyers threatened me about this new story while suing me for the last story that I hadn't discussed in 6 months. But I don't think so.
Yeah.
Either way, when someone threatens new reporting in a lawsuit about old reporting, the effect is the same. So, what was
OSC accuses executives of Logan Paul's Liquid Marketplace misappropriating investor
this
funds.
new
Oh boy.
story?
Oh
Well,
boy.
it's partly about a Canadian law enforcement investigation, and it's partly about something I told Logan to help him. Yes, believe it or not, I tried to help Logan Paul.
That
To
was dumb.
explain, we need to go back to when CryptoZoo first got exposed. Logan said he was going to sue me, but got backlash. So he called me to apologize. He said he was wrong and wanted to make things right. I made it clear refunds are the absolute right move going forward.
Yeah, genuinely, I think Paul would make so much more money off of just goodwill if he had just given people their money back.
And to my surprise, he agreed.
No, he didn't.
100%, man.
He said he
We're
agreed.
on the same
It's
page.
different. It's
But
different.
we weren't. Logan now doesn't use the word refund. He calls this a buyback. But at the time, I need you to understand.
Yeah,
I
that was
thought
probably
Logan
like
was
his
going to announce
lawyers.
a full refund. So I began trying to help him. And dare I say, I was even nice to the guy. You can see
Following up on of refunds for victims and who might be able to do it from a technical perspective. The owner of whatever and I talked today, and he said his team might be up for it and interested. They do blockchain tracing and investigations. On Telegram, his handle is whatever. This is just one option, and I was light on details, as I'm sure you'd want to explain yourself, but feel free to follow up if you want.
that I tried to offer people who might be able to trace blockchain damages to refund people.
Yeah.
And in the same spirit, I made
This-
Logan aware of potential problems at a different company he co-owned.
This is kind of the problem with dealing with dishonest people in an earnest capacity, right? Because they'll tell you that, yes, we're on the same side, and they'll say, yes, I want to help people. But then when you take that at face value and you start working with them as if they are trying to help people, they turn right around and stab you right in the back. It's really dangerous to handle these types of
called
people
Liquid Marketplace.
earnestly.
On a platform that I co-founded called Liquid Marketplace. It allows co-ownership of top-tier assets. So instead of one person, me owning this card, we as a collective can co-own it together.
This
Oh,
was
boy.
a fractionalized
So essentially, you're selling them your stuff without actually selling them your stuff, which I'm pretty sure is not legal.
collectible platform where Logan sold things like roughly half of a $5 million Pokemon card. The idea was you could buy tokens that represented partial ownership in rare collectibles.
Yeah.
That video, by the way, got 8 million views, and a lot of people bought into this platform. The
Idiots.
problem was I had heard
It-
troubling stories about this company. and I was trying to verify if the claims were true.
Probably.
So I had gone to the CEO, Ryan Bahadori, to ask him questions.
Bro's name is Baha. His fucking name is Baha. Like the blast?
But he kept dodging meetings. And I
course
don't
he
mean
does.
he refused meeting with me. I mean, we would set up meetings and then he did not show up. So-
As a quick reminder, we've rescheduled this already twice based on your request. Hope to hear from you.
I was troubled. And I brought this up to Logan. I figured if he's going to make one company right, make them all right. Otherwise, it might come back to bite him.
Yes,
I mean, can you
and it
imagine
will.
the disaster if another one of Logan Paul's co-founded companies was discovered to have scammed his fans? Hypothetically, that would be a very bad look.
Yes.
So I'm thinking, while he refunds CryptoZoo, Logan can push the CEO to talk with me, and I can figure out the truth. Maybe Logan can fix it if there's something wrong. And you can see Logan responds to me.
Slip text. Gonna push Ryan to talk to you again.
He says,
Appreciate it, man.
Gonna push Ryan to talk to you. Again, appreciate it, man. Now, I don't hear back from Ryan or Logan about this, so after a while, I follow up again. I say, let me
know if Ryan plans on talking. A lot of nasty stories still out there about Liquid MP, embezzlement, etc. He's dodged meeting me already once on a Zoom call I scheduled with him to answer those questions. He didn't show. Wanted you to
if
be
Ryan
aware.
plans on talking. A
Wow.
lot of nasty stories still out there about Liquid Marketplace, embezzlement, etc., and he's dodged meeting me already once. Now, obviously, the most shocking part of this is the word embezzlement. I need to make it clear. This is not an accusation. I am not accusing Logan Paul or Liquid Marketplace of wrongdoing.
Yes, you were just specifically talking about other people making those accusations and you wanting to clarify them.
I brought it up in our texts because it is my job to investigate unverified claims.
Yes.
That's the whole point of me wanting to meet with the CEO, but I was stonewalled. Logan never replied, despite me reminding him again.
Hey, Logan, been trying to reach you by phone for 5 months, and you haven't responded. Tisk, 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 coffee. Very unprofessional. It occurs to me that maybe you changed your number, so I thought I'd be sure to forward all my messages to you to make sure that you got them. Below are the messages, but for clarity, in the first message, I'm discussing our conversation to get Ryan, CEO of Liquid Marketplace, in a room to talk about the serious accusations of embezzlement and potential fraud. You initially told me you'd be sure he'd meet after I brought up the fact that rumors had begun circling. I haven't heard back from you or Ryan.
Via email 5 months later that I wanted to talk to Ryan about, quote, embezzlement and, quote, potential fraud.
Yeah.
Once again, not accusing anyone of wrongdoing. I'm simply doing my job at the time to chase down rumors and unverified claims. Without concrete proof, I would have never talked about any of this. But on June 19th, 2024,
Oh boy.
things changed.
Honestly, every time that he says, now I wasn't doing this, but, and then he follows that up with a date, like the hairs on the back of my neck fucking stand up, like, oh boy.
Because the Ontario Securities Commission revealed a Liquid Marketplace investigation where they accused Liquid Marketplace of being a multi-layered fraud, taking in $2.7 million from the sale of these fractionalized collectibles. The platform allegedly did not do exactly what it promised. Some of the blockchain tokens did not even mint. But even worse was the allegation that approximately $3 million was misappropriated from $10 million they raised of investor funds. This is a very similar claim to the one I had tried to verify. Ryan Bahadori, the guy I tried to speak to,
I'm still not over his fucking name, dude. Baha? Really?
was accused of, quote, making hidden payments to shell corporations without any legitimate business purpose.
Oh. Oh no.
As were two other of the founders.
For those who don't know, usually making hidden payments to shell corporations without a legitimate business purpose, usually that means he's laundering the money. Basically, you give him the money for him to do something, and then instead of doing that, he just sends it to a different company that doesn't have a real purpose, and then that company stores the money for him to remove from the company later for personal use.
And Ryan was accused of, quote, using company credit cards to buy high-end fashion, expensive
Yeah.
jewelry, and watches.
Exactly. See, he is transferring the money from the main company to the shell corporations that don't have a legitimate business purpose, and then he's using the shell corporation's company card to buy stuff.
Personal health and luxury spa services. If only there was someone who could have investigated this sooner. Now, it is really important to say Logan Paul is not accused by the OSC. Only 3 of his co-founders and his company is. But given the history, I had questions. After all, Logan's promotional video about Liquid Marketplace is still up. And the reason many people cared about Liquid Marketplace at all was arguably Logan Paul.
Obviously.
So, here were my questions. And as I read this, it's important to correct. I say Liquid Marketplace got accused of embezzlement. Technically, the OSC alleged misappropriation of funds. Those are similar. They're not the same.
They're not?
I wanted to correct that. But here's what I asked. Quote, did you take any action?
Got accused of embezzlement did 3 of the top executives. Given that I spoke with you about these allegations over a year ago, I wanted to ask for comment. I can give you 24 hours to respond. Oh, the rest of the message. Did you take any action on hearing these allegations over a year ago? Did you get approached by the Ontario Securities Commission? Is it true that Liquid Marketplace lied about their claims of insurance, appraisals, and co-ownership, as the Ontario Securities Commission alleges?
On hearing these allegations over a year ago? Did you get approached by the Ontario Securities Commission? And is it true that Liquid Marketplace lied about their claims of insurance, appraisals, and co-ownership, as the Ontario Securities Commission alleges? You can see I gave him 24 hours to respond on June 26th at 2:03 p.m. And I was promptly sued June 27th at 11:28 a.m. with roughly 3 hours to spare. Now I want to be clear. I don't know the answers to the questions I sent. Maybe Logan secretly whistleblew to the OSC when I first went to him.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
But here's the thing. If he had... Look, let's put ourselves in Logan Paul's shoes for a little bit. Let's assume that he did whistleblow. If that was the case, the smart thing to do would be text Coffee and say, hey, Coffee, or hey, Zilla, or hey, whatever the fuck he calls them. Hey, Coffeezilla. I am currently working with the Ontario Securities Commission to get all of this sorted out. I can't talk to you about this stuff right now. I will update you once it is complete. Once the matter is settled, I will update you. They've told me I can't talk to people about this. If that was the case, I don't think this video would have ever seen the public eye until the matter was settled, and it would have likely been very positive towards Logan Paul because, let's be honest, a video about how Logan Paul helped uncover a scheme in a corporation that he, co-owned. Yeah, no, that looks really good. That makes you look like a really good guy. So I don't think that's the case. I do not believe so. I don't think Logan is an idiot. I think that if he saw a clear path to success, he would have taken it immediately. The problem is he saw a different path where he would basically be gambling with other people's money and then cheating his audience out of that money. And that's the path he seems to be taking. And that really is it. He is basically investing other people's money and then taking all of the winnings for himself. And that's the problem here.
That's why you ask questions as a reporter. But now the story is not about those questions. It's about why I was sued immediately after asking them and threatened if I reported about Liquid Marketplace in a way they didn't like. This is not how I wanted this story to come out because there's still so much we don't know and so much I can't say now for legal reasons. Maybe Logan's totally innocent. Maybe he surrounded himself with scumbags who defrauded his fans. Maybe he'll do a refund for this project. I don't know because I never got the chance to find out. I tried to investigate, but I was stonewalled and sued when I asked questions. Make no mistake though, this investigation is still ongoing. And you can reach me at the email below if you were affected.
lmpinvestigation@gmail.com.
I will release my full investigation when it's appropriate because even if Logan doesn't want to answer questions, it doesn't mean I have to stop asking them.
Obviously not.
In summary, Logan's lawsuit is not about my original reporting into CryptoZoo. Even if you take this lawsuit on its own without context, it's an argument over Logan not refunding victims in full. It's Logan insisting he's not to blame. It's all his business partner's fault. But I don't think that aligns with the publicly known facts.
Of course
not.
not.
My opinion. For years, Logan has controlled CryptoZoo, and yet the game is still not out. Logan is now blaming the government.
Here's the thing. The game's never going to come out, right? Because he got rid of the people who were actually making the game. Like, he talked about how the programmers were cheating him, so he fired him. He talked about how the money people were cheating him, so he fired them. Right now, the project is dead in the water. I'd be very, very surprised if a single line of code has been written in years for that thing, right? So at this point, the only course of action that would result in a positive result for Logan Paul would be just scrapping the whole thing, paying people, and then going, guys, I'm sorry. I fucked up. It won't happen again. And then making sure it doesn't happen again. The problem is, Logan right now has worked on so many different pump and dumps and so many rug pulls that I very much doubt that that's ever going to happen.
Government for that instead of himself. And he also blames me for losing his good reputation, but you can't lose something you never had.
No, he had a good reputation. That's the thing. After the forest deal, after Japan, he had a year where everybody saw him as a shitter, right? And then he fought KSI, and that started to show people that, okay, no, this guy's actually a really good entertainer. And then he fought KSI again, and he cemented that. He's a really good entertainer. And then he and KSI went into business together with Prime, and Prime is a really good drink, specifically Prime Hydration, not talking about Prime Energy. Prime Hydration is a really good drink. It's healthy enough that you've got actual sports teams making it their official drink, which would not be happening if the drink wasn't good for the athletes. Because you need the athletes to be healthy in order to make money off of them. It's pure. I'm not saying that these corporations are good. I'm saying these corporations are self-interested, and it's in their self-interest to have a good hydration drink for their athletes. And if those corporations are using these hydration drinks, Prime Hydration, that means the drink is good. The FCC has looked at it, and it's good. Prime Energy, don't know anything about it. But Prime Hydration, good. And Logan Paul and KSI made billions, millions and millions, and now over $1 billion, right? They've made a lot of money with this. They have been successful with the Prime Hydration bottles, which means Logan Paul was recovering his good reputation. Unfortunately, this crypto stuff came out, and both Logan and KSI, as major investors, because that's what they are at this point, they are actual entrepreneurs. They tried it. KSI realized he was bad at it, and he backed off, and he never tried it again. Meanwhile, Logan went into one of these schemes and got pump and dumped. And then from that moment on, he has been doing that same thing to other people. He's done it multiple times. I don't know the exact coins anymore because it's been a while and I don't really pay that much attention to this stuff. But it really is about Logan Paul ruining his own reputation when it comes to this crypto stuff. Because, and this is the thing, Logan Paul, he's an amazing entertainer. If you see him in the WWE, people who absolutely hate his guts can't stop themselves from admitting, nah, the guy's good. The guy's really good at this. And he absolutely was born to do WWE. And he absolutely was born to be an entertainer. But he needs to back off of the money stuff. He needs to just lean into entertainment. And with Prime selling an actual
Not
product,
to mention, Logan is
he does a
arguably
good
richer
job.
than ever.
But with I accidentally continued the video. With Prime, he's done an actual job because he's selling a product. But with this crypto stuff where there's no real product, it's just the idea of a product, then it's just scams and rug pulls and pump and dumps and all this stuff, and it's awful.
And he's on the record finding my reporting thorough and good-hearted. So this defamation lawsuit
I genuinely would not take anything he says on camera at face value.
feels frivolous even on the surface. But if you dig deeper, there's an even more compelling story, which I personally believe, where the goal is to crush new investigations while taking revenge on old ones. In this version, Logan might not even care about winning. Legal battles are expensive, and in the world of money, he's got me beat. So he can try to silence me by weaponizing the law. He can sue me for doing my job. He can sue me for asking questions, and he can sue me for asking for refunds. But it's going to backfire because I think it reveals Logan as a bully rather than someone who's truly sorry. Because Logan may be a master at convincing people he's changed, but I'm convinced it's the follow-through where things go wrong. The actually changing part. There was a time where even I believed Logan was going to fully refund victims. That's why I was so nice to him and tried to help despite him threatening to sue me. But when it came time to pay up, Logan chose a minority refund and to fight the rest of the victims in court.
Been hit with a class action lawsuit over his alleged fraudulent CryptoZoo NFT project. Yeah, he absolutely should
Who
just pay
wanted their
people
money.
off.
And when I complained about that, Logan went from sorries and thank yous to lawyers and I'm suing you real quick. The irony is, it was that same initial belief in Logan's capacity to change that also made me bring up Liquid Marketplace to help stop potential problems. And yet here we are. The company is now accused of being a multi-layered fraud by the OSC.
I think if this gets bad enough, KSI will actually be forced to distance himself from Logan, even though they are friends. I don't think, at least, and when I say distance himself, I don't mean like friendship-wise, I mean like company-wise. Like, I think that if this starts to affect Prime, and I think it will eventually, even though like most of the people who drink Prime are young people who don't really give a shit about this stuff, I think it'll actually be very negative to his brand if this stuff keeps getting worse and worse. And the only person to blame here isn't Coffeezilla, isn't any other people reporting on it. It's entirely on Logan because of his genuine terrible handling of the situation.
And the CEO, who I tried to talk to multiple times, is alleged to have misappropriated money. This is despite me trying to talk to Logan directly many times as he asked.
Maybe we could have talked about this if you had reached out to me personally, not my manager, Jeff, who is not me, Steven.
Well, I did try to reach out personally, and I got sued and threatened a day later. That,
Yeah.
I think, says a lot about Logan's supposed change and his belief in accountability. Maybe the person he really believes in accountability for is not himself, but
other
me,
people.
specifically when I try to get accountability from him. If you want to support this lawsuit, the best way is coffeezilla.store.
Yeah, it's like I said, you can't handle dishonest people earnestly because they will take advantage of it. The only way to handle dishonest people is, well, you can't be as dishonest as them because then you're just as bad. But you need to handle them kind of roughly. You need to not talk to them, basically. You need to not show them your cards. That's not dishonesty, by the way. That's just not trusting them. You can't trust a dishonest person. You can't be earnest with them. And Logan Paul has shown himself to be a very dishonest person. We thought that he had changed. We thought that he was and by the way, we thought he had changed. We thought that he no longer just valued money. But let's be honest, we had no reason to believe up until now that he was this dishonest and Machiavellian, right? His biggest screw up until now had been Japan, which that wasn't a problem with dishonesty. That was a problem with basically letting things run wild. I accidentally breathed directly into the mic. Sorry about that. Letting things run wild without controlling how things move, right? He recorded that person, edited the video or had the video be edited by somebody else, and then launched the video without any problem, right? That's a problem in itself. But that's not about dishonesty. And I think a lot of people treat the Japan thing as being a show of his character, and I don't think so. I think the Japan thing was a stupid thing he did. It was a show of immaturity, which I think that he grew out of. But this is a show of his character. This is him showing. It was callous insensitivity. Exactly. Exactly. This, however, is pure dishonesty. This is him talking to Coffeezilla and saying, please just talk to me directly about this stuff in the future so that we can handle it, directly without this stuff ever going public. And Coffeezilla did that, and then Logan Paul snuck around behind him and swung a baseball bat at his head. Immediately from that moment forward, I don't think there is a time or a place where somebody who does this ever grows out of doing it. This is a character revelation. This is the sort of thing that if you are the type of person to do this, I don't know a time or a place where somebody stops being this dishonest, especially when they're already successful and when they have no reason to change. Because that's the problem here. He really has no reason to change his behavior. He has no reason to go, maybe I should stop being this way so that people will be nicer to me. He doesn't care. He has the money, he has the success, he has the people around him. He will always be more successful than the people who are mad at him, unless all of a sudden the fucking government comes after him. The problem is he's personal friends with a presidential candidate. And even if that presidential candidate doesn't win, he knows people in government. They're his friends. They probably share investment tips. There's a reason he makes so much money. And it's not just because he's a good investor, because as we've seen before, he's not. He's a very good influencer. I think the term influencer is very well used to talk about Logan Paul because he is able to sit in front of a crowd of millions and say, hey guys, check out this product. And a very large percentage of the people that listen to him will go and buy that product. And that's the mark of an influencer. And he is a very, very good one. And that is why he's so good at doing this sort of thing. The problem is he is now showing that he's not worried about the benefits that he offers to other people. He's worried about the benefits for himself. And once you endanger those benefits by revealing that, he's actually harming other people, he will come after you like a mama bear protecting her cubs. He will come after you like a junkie fighting over a bone. He will do whatever it takes to make you be quiet so that he can continue to take advantage of his audience. And while sure, he's a very good entertainer, I think it's very important to not let somebody who does this have the platforms to weaponize in the first place. And this is one of those situations where it's like, this is one of very few people that I think should actually be deplatformed. Because I think that the only time where your platform or your, things should be taken away from you is when you are misusing them. And I genuinely believe that Logan Paul is misusing his platform for very, very dark purposes. And I don't believe YouTube will do this because he would simply go on to Rumble or to any other platform and then be a completely different problem at that point. But I genuinely believe that the right thing for YouTube would be to remove him, even though I know it won't happen. And I think that YouTube should remove him, not because he's shared a bad opinion, not because he's a bad person or anything, specifically because he is using his platform to prey on his audience. And I don't think YouTube should allow that. The problem is, Logan has a very young audience, which kind of means that they will not be bothered by this in the slightest, and so he won't lose an audience at all from doing this stuff. It's kind of the same problem with Jake Paul. It's the same problem that he's bumping into now that he's trying to be a fighter, right? Jake Paul is trying to be a fighter, but his audience is so young that they don't really give a crap about fights. They don't care. They're not into it. They're not going to spend money to go watch him fight someone. The people watching those fights are people who want to watch the other guy beating him up. But, boxing, unfortunately, has a very, very dying audience. The audience for boxing is very small and getting smaller still. There's a reason why the YouTube boxing thing, the entertainment boxing, has become so big. And I generally enjoy entertainment boxing. I enjoy Misfits and all that stuff. Very much a lot of fun. Those events are awesome. But unfortunately, Jake Paul tries to be a quote-unquote serious boxer, and so he doesn't draw in the same level of audience because his audience is just a bunch of kids, and kids don't care about boxing. In the same vein, Logan Paul has monetized his audience of children with, drinks, colorful stuff, crypto zoo, that sort of thing. Like, CryptoZoo is the type of thing that a young audience would try to invest in. Some people invested millions. Those aren't the young audiences, but I'm sure there are some young people with a lot of money from, their very rich parents, which spent their allowances on CryptoZoo, and those kids aren't getting their money back, which is a problem. It's a very serious problem. And that's why I think that this is a very good argument for deplatforming. But with all of that being said, let's watch the rest of this so Coffee can finish his
You have
pitch.
14 days. Or you can support on Patreon. Thank you for listening, and have a nice day.
And with that, have a good one, everybody. I'll see you guys next time. Make sure to like, subscribe. Let me know what your thoughts below. I'll see you next time. Cheers.